Hello everybody. So we are continuing to try this training through YouTube. Today we will be learning about lead, the element, and it's in the workplace, the hazards that come along with it, and all that other fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Lead hazard awareness. I'm sorry that this is by PowerPoint, but it is the only option I was given for the training. So it is 34 slides long with a bunch of information, so feel free to pause it whenever. Keep on the lookout for anything that is highlighted green and underlined, because there's a test that I am supposed to give as well. So this is a whole bunch of references. Feel free to pause the movie or the video whenever you choose. Pretty much talking about where this information came from, who is responsible for it. Lead exposure has been known for decades. It shuts down the body once it gets in. There is an old adage in America of eating paint chips can make your brain not work well. So if somebody is making decisions that do not seem smart, they are asked jokingly, "Did you eat paint chips as a kid?" But it is a true issue, and it is something that is not a joke. But lead has been used for thousands of years. Through years of exposure, that's how it begins to affect the body. It enters the body through inhalation. We breathe in the particles or we eat the particles. Lead has always been considered to be useful because of the low melting point, how heavy it is, the molecular weight, and the density. It is very, very malleable as well, meaning we can bend it and make it into what we need very, very easily. It's a really good way to shield from radiation. It's used in batteries, it's used in roofing. Like I said, it has been used in paint, but that is now not a common practice because they realized how dangerous it is. Like I said, lead has its health hazards. Once it gets into your body, it begins to break down the liver and the other organs. It is brought into the body by breathing it in, inhalation, and ingestion, meaning eating it. It can be absorbed through the skin, but that is not nearly as common. This is a list of things that lead will do. I do not want any of these things to happen to me or my children or you, which is why we have this training. One of the most severe forms of lead poisoning is a kidney disease that is called wrist drop or foot drop. In this picture, you can see the artist's wrists are fallen down. He's not even able to lift them up, probably from dealing with lead paint in his art. So once again, wrist drop and foot drop. It affects men and women with the reproductive systems. So both males and females are susceptible, at risk for the health hazards of lead. We are going to start getting into the regulations. There are going to be a lot of numbers. The most important ones, as you can see here, I have made larger, made green, and I have underlined. So the permissible exposure limit This is what the industrial hygienists test for, is 50 micrograms per cubic meter of air. At any point in time, if it gets greater than 30 micrograms for more than 30 days is another action limit. So the permissible limit is 50 micrograms, and biological monitoring and medical surveillance should start if you hit for more than 30 days per year at 30 micrograms. The way that we control it is through understanding where lead is, which the industrial hygienist will do, and to make sure that we do not use lead paint. We do not use lead unless necessary, and that when we are cleaning, we use a HEPA filter. Make sure that the exhaust vent and everything is cleaning the air. Protective equipment is very important. If you are working with lead, you will need a respirator, as seen here. You would need a Tyvek suit and gloves. The Tyvek suit should also include boots to protect you. And the respirator, if we were doing lead work, which we do not, would be provided to you from the government. It should be provided to the employees. Signs when working with lead, they will be provided and displayed at each location where the concentrations are greater than the PEL, which again is 50 micrograms. And they should be posted so that everybody can read them and take the necessary precautions. When we are cleaning, vacuuming with a HEPA filter is preferred. Wiping down all of the surfaces where lead would be, and compressed air. If you can see here, this is a compressed air gun with a big X. It should not be used because that will get the lead up in the air, and as we already talked about, breathing in the lead particles is one of the major ways that we get lead poisoning. Lead in the lunchroom. If you are wearing a Tyvek suit, please do not wear it into the lunchroom. Do not eat or drink or store food anywhere where lead is, because it will get in the food or in the drink and then you will eat it. Whenever you get rid of lead, there are a lot of laws in America. I have learned that the Japanese hazardous material disposal is even better than America. So there are certain containers that lead can go in. They can only go to certain landfills. Please do not just throw lead away in a normal trash can. As far as training, the training should be specific in nature. So most of this, since I'm doing a specific in nature, I am not talking about, because we do not use lead on an everyday basis in our work center. The purpose of respirators, the adverse effects, there was that long list of effects that we've already talked about. And we are also going to speak about chelating agents and what they do. If you think that there is a lead hazard, please let us know. The employee should be given the opportunity for sampling and monitoring. We have no reason to deny this to you. It says you shall be given. So if you think that there is a risk, please let us know so we can get it monitored. You have the right to have your sampling records within 15 days of a request. 15 days after you request it, you should have the records. Chelating agents, I said we would speak about, and they are drugs used to reduce the amount of lead that your body absorbs. A prophylactic chelation is not authorized. There are many other ways to get chelation drugs. As far as written compliance, the process review and measurement systems is the model that the Navy uses. It is a new protocol for safety. Its purpose is to reduce the mishaps. It is monitored by the command, and it is always improving. We are going to talk about some of the 6 models. The most important, right here, most important is the mishap prevention model. Another 2 that are pretty important to remember is regulatory compliance and the training process. Those are the big 3 that you need to remember. And the most important is prevention. There are 4 steps. First, like most things, you must have a plan, which includes the training and the written plan. Then you must do the plan. So we write the plan, and then we do the plan. And then we continually checked the plan to make sure that we are not missing anything, that the training is happening. And then, after we check, we must act on what we found. If we were doing our check and we realized that we were not training right, well, then we must do a new training model. If we do not have the PPE when we check, we must get the PPE. The employees, the team, owns the process, especially for you in Okinawa, because I am not there very often. If you see something that could be a hazard, in this case we're talking about lead, but in general about anything, please let me know. This is the summary page. It does not even come close to what the test says is important to remember. But if you have any questions, please go back and rewatch. Ask me if you have any questions. If you did not understand because the lesson was in English and I could not find one that was a authorized lesson through ESAMS that was in Japanese, please let me know. The safety training can be very, very boring. I understand that. It is required to do, but it means nothing if it is falling on ears that do not understand because of the language barrier. Any questions, please let me know. And thank you. Stay safe.